Snap. Let me
No,
see.
that's good. It's good. No, you're good. I just gotta turn it up on my end.
All right. Sweet. What's up, man? How's it? What's up, dude? How's everything?
It's up and down, dude. It's a roller coaster. But before we get started, welcome to my little humble abode here in
Look at
Minnesota.
that. Thank you. Thank you. I feel
Yeah,
welcome already.
yeah, man. No, it's been up and down, man. Like,
Mm.
this is a big transition for me. Something very, very new. Very. I would have never thought I'd be in Minnesota. I would have never thought I would leave Stockton, let alone California. You know. So yeah, like, today's a good day. Like, this morning started rough, and
Mm.
like as the day went on, it got better, and I'm feeling a lot better mentally right now, and emotionally and spiritually and stuff. So I just got to ride the wave, man, and keep my mental capacities in check. Um, but I mean, it's one hell of a journey, that's for sure, man.
Hey, that's true, man. Yeah, that's the most important thing, though. Journeys. The journeys are the most important thing. That's what really gets us going every day. That's what gives us our reasons to why we're doing it. The best things in life come from our journey. It's like, man. So how's the transition as far as training wise? Because you do train the no gi and gi as well, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
so my I come from, well, so my background's not really. I was gonna say it's gi, but I have a lot of gi training.
Mhm.
I started off doing MMA training um, when I first started in this jiu-jitsu martial arts journey when I was 28. So right about 15 years ago, I started at a little place in Stockton called the Stockton Fight Club, and I was had dreams of being an MMA fighter, wanted to MMA, whatever. Anyway, so I started Nogi MMA stuff, and then transferred over to another gym, and had a few smoker shows, underground fights, and then made my way to another gym where I was doing MMA, and eventually went to Cortez Martial Arts, where
Yeah.
we have that in common, where
Uh-huh.
I started doing gi training, and
Wow.
I was there for about almost 7 years. I got to my third stripe on my purple belt. My son, he's been with me since he was 7 or 8, in the gym. He turned 8. Well, my son. He turned 18 in
Oh yeah.
February. Yeah, he probably beat both of us up.
Oh, dude. It just recently happened. It just recently happened, man. It was man. It's a whole different situation when you're in there. It's like
Yeah, so yes, so we can get into that a little bit later. But to
yeah.
answer your question, so I went from like MMA no gi to gi, and then and still doing MMA, and
Mhm.
then I we end up at 10th Planet Stockton shortly after they opened up. It's almost 3 or 4 years ago at this point.
Mhm.
But they had the no gi and the gi program, and they had and I had met Tim through the network. I would always go to open mats, and I had built a very big network during my time as an MMA fighter, and so yeah, so they had the gi program there, and they had the no gi, and we went in, and so we got to learn a lot of the 10th Planet no gi stuff, and a lot of the traditional gi training. And so out here, there's a Guerrilla Jiu Jitsu affiliate, and just a little history on Guerrilla Jiu Jitsu. If you don't know who Dave Camarillo is, um, you should reconsider your jiu-jitsu level.
Oh,
And I say that
wow.
jokingly. Dave Camarillo is a super OG. He came up through the Ralph Gracie system. He's developed um, his own format for jiu-jitsu. He's an Olympic level judo black belt, and he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu as well. And so, I've only met the guy once. I fought one of his guys back in the day. We're really good friends now, and just as like I said, networking. I know a lot of guys within the Guerrilla Jiu Jitsu family out there at the headquarters in California, and here in Brainerd, Minnesota, where I'm living at now, where my family will be moving to. We had been coming out here every year for 4 years prior to the pandemic, And a little bit of talk was happening back then about maybe moving out here, whatever. And my big thing was like jujitsu's got to be there. And so I was already scouting jujitsu, and I found there's a couple schools out here, and I checked them both out just to see what the vibe was like. Um, Guerilla Jiu-Jitsu's out here, and that was a very a direct link to back home. And so we hung out with those guys, trained with them. My son and I did, and it was good vibes. Good vibes at the other place too. But when I moved out here, you know, throughout that whole time, there's always been a little bit of like, um, I don't want to say communication, but like presence between them and me. You know, throughout from when we went to train there, 4 years ago, 3 years ago,
Yeah.
to when I'm moving over here. There was a little bit of like, I forgot what I said. But anyway,
Connection, right?
we would like each other's comments and stuff like
Communicate.
that. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, hey, how's it going? About, but there's a certain level of communication. So when I came out here, I was like, it just made sense to come and train with these guys. Not only are they great people, a very technical, very very intricate instruction, and like very very good. So like the training over here, it's a little different, but it's also a little bit the same because they're all over the leg lock systems. They're all over,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
a lot of the
Nice.
just a lot of the stuff that I was already doing at 10th Planet.
Uh-huh.
They're doing a lot of similar things here. Um, not the 10th Planet system, but leg locks and rubber guard. That's kind of all like just like regular jujitsu now. There are I forget who I was talking to, but there are people coming up in jiu-jitsu that have no idea where, leg locks really, were brought to the forefront. There are people coming up in jiu-jitsu who, you know, you know, don't realize that Eddie Bravo created a lot of created the system that there are other systems being based off of.
Okay. Yeah.
If you think about if you look at the no-gi realm right now, there's a lot of influence from the 10th Planet system that Eddie created. And so yeah, very similar training out here. It's super technical. The vibe is obviously different. The culture's different out here. It's definitely not Stockton. Definitely something I'm not used to. But it's not bad either. It's just different, and I got to
Yeah.
get used to it. And everyone there is really cool. It's I've called that place my home. That's my jujitsu home.
Oh,
I'm out here with Guerilla Jiu-Jitsu Team Black Arrow here in Brainerd, Minnesota. Getting my butt kicked, man. Like everyone is really technical. There's two black belts on any given day. Professor Jared, the head instructor owner, dude is a monster. Like, yeah, I call him. I equate him to like being a waterfall. You see the waterfall. Oh, the waterfall looks nice and graceful. You get under the waterfall and you're smashed with all this like pressure of water.
All the
And
pressure.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's kind of like what he's like, because he's a very nice dude, very soft spoken,
Uh-huh.
super cool guy, and you get it, man. You lock up with him, and you can just feel like this dude can rip me up.
Oh,
You know,
man. I've
Professor
been
Kyle,
feeling that a lot.
one of the other instructors, very super technical, very strong. It's like, you know, um, super technical and strong, man. And then you got Professor Aiden. Um, you know, so Professor Jared is my age. We're 43, 44. Professor Kyle, I believe, just turned 30. And Professor Aiden, I think, is like 27. And this dude, and it's funny because like Professor Aiden is a very strong pressure, like bull kind of guy. And it kind of reminds me of me and how like I am with some of the people that I'm better than. And so like, but it's just, dude, I get smashed all the time, and it's just,
Wow.
but it helps me though. It helps me get better because I got to figure out ways. I'm an upper belt, this and that, but like, it's 3 black belts, and sometimes it's just me and those 3, and that's a hard night. It's a hard night.
Oh, I can only imagine, man.
But no, dude, like I enjoy being over there. Everyone is super cool. Everyone has, I kind of had a little bit of relationship with some of the people there from when, excuse me, my son and I visited a few years ago. but yeah, everyone is, they've taken me in, and really, I'm thankful and grateful that I've found jujitsu here in this small town of Brainerd, and a legit school, a school with legacy, with traditional roots that go real, that go deep within the jujitsu sphere. Um, but I'm having a good time there, and I'm it's good stuff, man. Really good
Yeah,
stuff.
that's good to hear, man. It's really good to hear, and it was actually really an honor meeting you too, because I actually got to meet you right before you left. I think it was
Yeah.
yeah, it was like a little bit right before you left, but I believe that was a perfect time. We rolled. Yeah, I got my ass kicked, but yeah, no, it was good, man. I'm glad I was able to do that. Um, hopefully soon when I catch you here, or anytime I'll fly out somewhere. Minnesota doesn't
Yeah.
sound too bad as
You
far as from
know,
what I see your videos.
it's not, and yeah, and to your point, like it was probably about maybe 3 months because when you first started, you were kind of hit and miss a little bit, with your work
Mm,
schedule and all that, getting that tightened up.
yeah,
Um,
that's
but but yeah, so and it was great meeting you too, man, and being able to roll and like
thank you.
I was I was talking to, so I have an old school homie from like middle school and high school, and there's not too many people, and I'm gonna say this without trying to sound like dramatic or anything like that, but there's not too many people like me that end up doing jujitsu. And when I say that, I mean coming up from the east side of Stockton, or the hard parts of Stockton, going through struggle, that end up doing jujitsu. That from that I grew up with, because I don't know. I think there's only one other person that I know that's involved, and her kids do jujitsu.
Mm,
But aside from that, like he's the only other one that I know that from my age that I went to school with that ended up doing jujitsu, and we found it like in our own path.
mm-hmm.
But I was talking to him, so he lives in Texas now, and he just got his brown belt not too long ago. I thought he
Oh,
was still
nice.
a blue or purple belt. But his son trains too, so like we have a lot of that in common. Because I mean my son's been training with me
Yeah.
since he was 7 or 8. He's 18, 10 years. He's not a normal blue belt by any means.
Oh,
But I
no.
was talking to my buddy, I was talking to my homie about you today, because there
Oh,
are
thank you.
there are certain people that come in, and they come in with a lot of gusto. They come in super pumped, and then they fizzle out. Then there's other people that come in, and you can see what that they want to be about it, that they want to do this, not be about like be big badass grappler, but
Mm,
they want to train jujitsu, and they you've put your life into a way where you can do your jujitsu.
mm,
And
yeah.
there's a lot to be said about that. Meeting guys like you, white belts that come in that are receptive and responsive to some of the tips that the older cats, the more seasoned dudes might be giving them. And you've always been receptive, and because I mean, there's not honestly, I'm down to help everybody and anybody I can, but there's people that you can just tell like they're just not
Mm,
really open to it. And when guys like you come in that are open to it, like it's cool, because I want to give back. Jiu-jitsu's given me so much, and I feel like I have a certain responsibility to jiu-jitsu, being a brown belt, being in the game as long as I have. And even coming from Stockton, I'm not there anymore, but I'm always going to be Stockton until I die.
mm,
And I still want to be a good representation of what comes out of that town based on what it's known for and how it's turned out to be, and still be a good representative of jiu-jitsu and my family. So when guys like you come in, and they're respectful, they want to learn, and they're receptive, like it makes rolling with people like you fun. And being able to help you, kind of light bulbs go off, and like,
oh,
oh
yeah.
yeah, and yeah, so
Yeah,
kudos to
that's
you,
the best
shout out
part,
to
man.
you, man,
Thank you, man.
for
Thank you.
doing
Thank you.
whatever you're
Appreciate you.
doing to to get what you need to get what you need to get out of jiu-jitsu, so you can be the best that you can be through it.
Thanks, man. Yeah, no, I really appreciate that, man. And yeah, jiu-jitsu's actually been doing a lot for me. Like how you mentioned earlier, like I put everything as far as in my schedule, the best possible way to be able to make it at any time as I can. Um, I work an hour and a half away from Stockton, um, and I'm in traffic about 3 hours a day, just there and back. And a lot of the times I gotta leave super early in the morning, and then I get home super late. And sometimes it's 8 o'clock, sometimes it's 9, sometimes it's 7. And if I leave at a certain time at work and I know I can make it to class, I'm like, okay, if I leave at this time, I know I'll at least be able to make it maybe 5 minutes early or 5 minutes late. At least I'll know I'll be able to make it. Yeah. And I try to take that every time, man. I try to take that every time, and my lady's very supportive of that as well. And sometimes she'll help me out. She'll, hey, do you want me to take your stuff over there? Hey, do you want me to help you out, put your stuff ready? She's here and she helps me out. So it's also great having a support system and
that's
people
crucial,
around you,
man. That's crucial, and I think sometimes a lot of people forget, like, you got to give a shout out to, whether it's your spouse, your girlfriend, whatever, your significant other, because it can make life difficult, man. I remember when when I was in like my heyday of doing my MMA stuff, you get a bunch of young cats that would come in, or people come in and want to train, they want to do this, and by no means I wasn't anything big or special, but like I put in the work. I did I put in the work, man, to be at this little bit of slice of pie I had in MMA. I put the work in, and people forget, like, you got to have your shit together. And that's with anything, like, if you want to do this podcast you're doing, like, you got to get your stuff together, get your shit together, got to get your mic, got to get your setup, you got to get all this stuff.
Yeah, right? There's things that you got to do. Mm-hmm.
And if whatever career you choose, you have to have your stuff together. And so, there'll be a lot of cats that come in and they want to train, they have, they talk all this and that, but like, they ain't got no car, they ain't got no job. Like, how you going to get to the gym? Because that's the first thing is showing up.
Yeah.
And you got to pay. Like, you can't get it for free. You're going to pay with time or money. And if you have not shown your worth, you can't pay with your time. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, if people, or they got baby mama drama, they're like, they don't take care of their kids or whatever, like, you got to have your stuff together, just to even just train on like as a hobby, or like, even if you don't want to compete and you want to train, you still got to have your stuff together. You still got to have the money to do it, because, you just got to have your stuff together. And then that kind of goes with anything in life. But, definitely having a support system at home. Like, my wife has been super supportive for 15 plus years I've been in the MMA jiu-jitsu thing, and she's had my back the whole way, and we have a family. I had a regular job. I coach my son in soccer, my daughter's in dance. Like, we would just be all over the place, but we worked together.
That's good.
And it's
all about
like
working
that's
together.
what you and your lady do, and that's good, man. That's good to have your spouse and significant other support you in what you do, because when they don't, and it's not it's not to say, don't have a girlfriend, don't get married. It's like, because you're kind of, you're a team, and so if y'all are on the same page, it makes life a little hard, especially when you got responsibilities, if you got kids or whatever. Like, your kids, you got to make sure you're there for who you need to be there for, while still trying to do what you're trying to do for your own self.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna shout out to you and your lady for making it work, man, because
thank you.
It's not easy. Yeah,
man, and same to you guys, man. That's awesome. 15 years, man. That's a blessing. That's awesome, man. That's really good to hear. I'm really curious. So, as far as being around your lady in this thing, it's really hard to get beaten up. All right, man. My lady kind of hits me at home too. Sometimes. And,
so like, it's it kind of goes into the don't ask, don't tell thing. Like, don't call the cops. Be like, hey, my lady's beating me up.
Right.
But that's such a funny joke. Like, your girlfriend your wife must have got you mad. Like, black eye or whatever. It's like,
yeah, right. It's like, yeah, man, did you get that scar from training? It's like, nah, dude, it was at home. And I'm just kidding. She doesn't beat me. She doesn't beat me. Sometimes I question my jiu-jitsu, but she doesn't beat me.
Yeah. or it's like, oh, that's not a hickey.
Right? Oh my goodness.
Because the collar grabs and
the cold collar here, and all the redness on here.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
Or you get those guys that don't cut their nails, man, and then you get scratched. So there's that.
That was me when I started. I
remember talking to you about that.
Yeah, ever since then, man, I've been freaking. I
You
gotta
know?
make sure, man. I'm
Yeah,
like,
like
oh, dude.
I'm kind of going through it right now because you know, you can obviously, you know, I'm big on the hygiene with
Yeah.
jujitsu and stuff, but like I cannot find my nail clippers, and I've been looking for them all day because like my nails, like I'm gonna go train tomorrow. It's like I need where are my nail clippers at? I've been kind of going
Yeah.
crazy trying to find them, so I was like I almost got to stop by Walgreens on the way to jujitsu after work and just pick up some nail clippers and cut them because.
Some little dollar ones to get
No,
it out of the way.
I had little ones in my fanny pack,
Uh
and
huh.
then like you know I'm really like I try to put things back like everything has their place. I'm a little OCD like that,
Hmm.
and this is what I get for not putting them back in their place because they're not where they're supposed to
Oh
be.
no.
And then I remember I had sitting somewhere and I was talking to my wife about. She's like, "Oh, remember I knocked over the table when I was over there." And my wife she's been here. She was here for 12 days. She just went back to California yesterday.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, she had knocked over one of the tables in here, and I think the nail clippers were on it. She's like, "Oh, remember I knocked over the table?" So then I activate tweaker status. Someone looking on the floor with
All
the
over the floor,
flashlight.
huh? Every square
Couldn't
inch.
find them. Yeah, I was like, huh. And it's not a very big apartment either to be looking, and I couldn't find them. Like, I'm just gonna have to go to the little Walgreens tomorrow after work
Pick
and
yourself
get
up one before you go.
maybe get like 3 pairs. Um,
And just in
dude,
case.
dude, four. Um, I have 4 sets of keys, dude. 4 sets of keys because the first 2 weeks I was here, I locked my keys in my truck. I was
Oh,
like, damn it! At lunchtime, I went to Habitat for Humanity. It's a
that's
place
one.
where they sell a lot of like secondhand stuff. So
Yeah.
I kind of furnished my little apartment here with a lot of stuff from over there, and it's still good condition. It's at a lower price, whatever. That's cool. I don't need a bunch
Hmm.
of new stuff. Anyway, so I
Hey,
locked my keys
it
in
is
the
what it
truck at
is.
lunch.
Uh huh.
My second week at work, I called my boss. I was like, "Hey, I don't be late coming back to work. I locked my keys in the truck." And
There
he
we
started
go.
laughing. He came out, like, we hung out for a bit and bullshitted. So I got my keys. I'm like, all right, I need to get some spare keys. So I got a spare key set that I keep at our friend's house, about 20 minutes from here, still in
Mhm.
town. And then I have a set I keep at work, and then I have, my regular set. I'm like, all right, cool, I'm good. Well, the cold does things to your vehicle that it doesn't know that you're not used to it happening. So
Oh,
every morning, in the winter, because it gets really cold in here, so I got to go. I'll start the truck and then I'll let it warm
yeah.
up for like 20 minutes. I'll come back in and finish getting ready or whatever.
Uh,
Well, one day, the doors decided to lock because normally the doors don't lock. Once I start the truck
mhm.
and my doors don't lock, I shut the door and I'm cool. I didn't realize that the doors had locked. That this one, not about 4 or 5 weeks ago. I didn't realize the doors had locked. I went outside, went to get in to leave. What the hell? The truck was locked. I'm like, shit, what happened? I don't know. But I called my coworker who sits next to me. I was like, hey,
Yeah.
in my drawer, dude. And I only live like 10 minutes from work. I was like, hey, can you come by and drop my keys off?
Oh,
My
that's
keys
that's
are here.
good.
And so, so that's why I got the set like that, right?
Hmm.
And so then I'm like, but what if this happens again? What am I going to do? What if that fool's not there? What if nobody's there? And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get another set. And so I got him
There we go.
I got him in a little hiding spot outside,
There we
just in
go.
case. And so like,
There we
so
go.
the nail clippers,
Just in case.
I need nail clippers for like little different spots in my apartment in case I can't find
In
them
your
when I need them. I
apartment.
got it right there, but I got to put it back where they belong. But yeah, no, like yeah, I don't, and like I got to be a little bit different out here, because like at home, I was one of the kind of the leader in a way, and I'm a mat enforcer, like bow on and off the mat, your nails, like wash your gi, you stink, whatever, and I try not to be a jerk about it, right? But I am just a regular dude over here. Like whatever little bit of juice my name might have had in California, it's because of the network that I built and all the fighting that I've done locally and stuff like that. Whatever little bit of juice my name had, hey, now here, man, I'm just a regular guy, just doing jujitsu. So and I want to be respectful. I don't want to like step on toes or anything like that. So it's just you know, I'm still bringing respect to jujitsu in that way as well by just keeping my mouth shut.
Hmm.
I don't always got to say anything. So
The teacher is a student.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
teacher's
I have some background in teaching. I was an assistant instructor at Cortez Martial Arts for a number of years.
nice.
I ran the kids MMA class for a while. I really got to um, enjoy the fruits of teaching jujitsu. And And I ran into Sensei Jason. I forget it was the second Jiu-Jitsu World League last year.
Oh,
I had ran
okay.
into him. Or maybe it was a year before. Maybe it was earlier in the year. I ran into him over there, and because we had a falling out, which is the reason why I left. And but I went and thanked him. Was like, hey, it's just for what it's worth, I still we still had a good time. I enjoyed every opportunity that you gave me to teach and all that. Because I mean, things happen, whatever. But I'm not one to really hold grudges. I don't like to do that. Um, and so I just, hey, it's all good, whatever. And he felt the same way, so it was cool. I'm glad we were able to have that conversation before I left. There's other people that I've dealt with where it's like, I won't feel bad if something happens to you. I just won't wish bad on you.
Right?
You know what I'm saying? It's like,
No, no, okay.
you kind of fucked me over kind of hard, and like, it comes back to you. Like, I don't wish bad on you, but we all reap what we sow at the end of the day, no matter what.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's good training out here. Life is different out here. For everybody out there in California, at least where I'm at in Minnesota, the cold is not as bad as you think. The snow is not as bad. Snow is actually very beautiful.
Soft. Nice and soft. Or
Well, it can get soft and then it'll turn hard depending on how cold it gets the next day.
makes
It's I mean
sense.
20 below, 30 below.
What's the coldest that's been since
I think
you've been there?
so it got down to 40, I think, but that's when I was in California during the Christmas time.
Wow.
But it's gotten to like 38 below. You know what I'm saying? Or do you get that wind chill? But I mean, you just put on a couple layers, man. Like, and you put on some thick socks.
And
Just
it's
like
not
at
as
home.
bad, right?
It's not just like at home when it's hella hot outside. You don't go outside. When it's hella cold outside, you don't. I mean, you only go outside when you have to, right? Like whether it's cold or whether it's hot.
Yeah.
But I think we get a little spoiled because we have a lot of the sun depending on what part of California you're in. But like and then what we see on TV is all we think of the snow that happens in along 80 in Reno where they're shutting roads down. It's a blizzard. It's freaking crazy.
Yeah, that was
And
something.
then what we see on TV, Chicago and all this cold, like it's not that bad, man. It is not that bad. Your tan game definitely will suffer. I'm a light complected guy already, but golly, I've been talking because I talk to my wife and kids every night. We have video calls.
Yeah.
And I'll be talking to them and be like, God dang, I look hella, like, I look super pale. I mean,
And the difference in color, right?
yeah. I mean, I'm already light complected as is, but, like, I look pale now. I don't even look light complected. I look pale. But, the spring's coming. It was a very beautiful day. Spring's coming around.
Oh, yeah, it's starting to get nice
a
out.
little more snow this weekend, but, I got here in the fall, and, man, let me tell you, it was beautiful. It was beautiful out here in the fall with the, you get all four seasons out here, and you got to deal with a little bit of the cold. And it's probably harder for me right now because I'm out here by myself. I mean, I do have a few friends, some people I met at work. Obviously the people at Jiu-Jitsu. My brother-in-law's out here, and then my wife's best friend, her husband. They're really good. We're really good friends. So like, I have a little bit of people, but like, for the most part, when I leave work, I'm here. There's nobody here. When I come out for Jiu-Jitsu, there's nobody here. So I think that has played a huge factor in how up and down I get, when you're trying to rebuild your life, like it's, I don't know how to rebuild my life. I've never had to rebuild it in a way that I'm doing now. I come from, structure, stability. I know what's going on here. I know the job like the back of my hand. I was in manufacturing for like 6 years, and like, after like 9 months, maybe a year, it was good. And then 18 months came around, and I got a promotion. Then like I just became one of the dudes. Like I knew my job like the back of my hand. I knew my personal budget. I knew what we were doing every day because what the kids were doing, what I was doing, my wife was doing. Like I had all this structure and stability. And then 2020 came around and the plant shut down, and COVID started. We didn't shut down because of the pandemic. It was part of it, but it was more, I think, bad business moves on the company's part that
Pandemic
really did
had
it.
a lot to do.
But the pandemic did have something to do with it, and so
For sure
they shut
it
the
did.
plant down. And so I had struggled for um, 7 months trying to, get my career back on track. And, we had been talking about moving out here. And finally, I was just like, you know what, if we're going to do it, let's just try to do it now because I'm not working right now. And, interviews really ain't popping off. So,
Mm-hmm.
and shoot, dude, like I had a lot of emotional baggage, with leaving. The house I grew up in, that house, my mom, that house been in my family for all my life. Like I don't know, 30 or 40 years of my mom's life. She worked hard to get that house, and so that had always been a thing. Like, what are we gonna do with the house? Like, man, I don't want to sell it. I don't know what to do. Finally, I just had a conversation with her. She was like, "Sell it." I was like, "What?" That changed the game, man, dude. Within 3 weeks, I had a job offer here and an apartment. Like,
Oh, nice.
dude, it's just
Look
like
at that.
if you can ever see God working in your life, like for me, that was it. It was like, the job was very similar to what I've done before. I
Mm-hmm.
had manufacturing. I had a thorough understanding of like scheduling, purchasing, inventory. I'm a numbers guy. I have a degree in accounting, so like I'm a numbers dude. Numbers are my jam. And so it all just worked out. My apartment's 10 minutes away from my job. I got it the same week I got offered the job. Um, Ran all the numbers. I found one of my buddies who live out here in Minnesota from Sacramento. He's in the Air Force. And one of my things was like, where can I go to find out the difference in the cost of living? Because I want to know how much I need to make. I want to, I don't want to be out here to be broke or poor and have the same struggle, that I do in California. And he was like, bro, I gotta do that all the time because he's in the service, so he's always moving around. And so we ran the numbers, did the budgets, looked at everything. We did as much due diligence as we could to make the decision. Like, hey, we're going to be able to do it. And it's working out. We're not looking back now. It's there at one point in time we're like, oh, because my wife and kids weren't going to be moving here for 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
We're already more than half. We're 6 months I've been out here. We're already almost there. And earlier, before it was like, oh, if it don't work, you have 9 months to figure it out, and then you can come back. But then, I was talking to one of my cousins. He was like, well, why even have that as an option? Just go and like don't look back. And I was like,
No
you're
plan
right.
B.
And so that's the mindset we took. And you know, last night it would have been like, I don't know, just because I get just being alone and trying to figure this out, just all this new stuff. Like I fluctuate, dude. It's crazy, but at the end of the day, like I know this is the better move for us to have the better quality of life that we want to have. My wife calls this home. I want to give her that dream, and for her to be able to be back home and where she can breathe again. I mean, I can live in Stockton. I can sift through the mud. I can go through all the BS. Like I'll be fine there. But
Mm-hmm.
it's not just me that I have to think about. But my wife and really it's still, in my opinion, it's still risky to be out there. There were just I was talking to my therapist the other day, and she was talking about how there was like 6 killings in February, and there was like 2 killings over the weekend or something like that. Now my son's
Mm-hmm.
telling me about it. He was like, Dad, there was a killing last night, and I was coming from the gym in the morning, and there was still traffic, and it was right here because we do the video call, and
Yeah.
it kind of reminded me of like why we were doing this. The
Mm-hmm.
purpose of moving out here and the better quality of life, and to be safe, and so my wife feels safe and secure. Because really, dude, like we're someone else's argument away from being a victim.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's true.
as dark as it might sound, and I'm not trying to shit on Stockton or anything like that. That city built me. You know what I'm saying? But like the truth of the matter is, when I look at it from an objective perspective and take away my emotional attachments and my loves and comforts there, dude, like it's a risk. It's risky being out there, man. Like it's risky when Jesse's leaving jujitsu to go pick his sister up and then drive home. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and it's so it put it into perspective again. It kind of reminded me of my purpose and why we're doing the move in the first place. It's sad. It's sad what's happening out there, and for the people who are victims of these crimes. You know, whether they're in the game or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sucks because other people are affected by those decisions that these people are making to be in this violent lifestyle. You
Yeah.
know, you look at somebody like Rodney Hugh. 2 years ago I think it was. Are you familiar with him?
No, actually,
So he's a martial art. He's an instructor. Like he's been in the martial arts a very long time. What's the matter of fact? Eric, is it Eric? The blonde Mexican dude that trains sometimes. He's a judo dude. Eric
no.
Duarte.
Judo Duarte.
So you might know him if you see him. I don't know if he's been training jiu-jitsu lately or not. But anyway,
Mm.
so his son goes to Rodney's gym. It's a martial arts gym. So here we go. Martial arts guy, community guy, right? Dude gets shot at a grocery store, like over a fucking parking space or some shit like that. Dude, somebody killed him over something so stupid. And the kind of person that he was in the martial arts community. You know what I'm saying? Like the bullets don't care. People don't care like who you are. They'll get you over something as dumb as a parking spot, or maybe they feel offended because you were trying to cross the street and they were trying to go in their car. And it's just people just create these stupid reasons to do dumb stuff, and like
Oh,
it's horrible, man. The way that society has gotten in our area over the last probably 10 years, man. So not to be doom and gloom on what's up, like Stockton can still
no.
recover. Our life is what we make of it. We have to make the right decisions that we think is for us. And I just wish everybody positive success, love, happiness wherever you're at, man. I like to end a lot of my videos when I post them is like, much love and respect. That's for everybody. Just train, do something to level up. You know, um, whatever you got to do, whatever that looks like, man. Look at how you've leveled up with. I know I believe you like you do. Like, you have a little tournament circuit that you do. I've kind of seen.
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of
I try to
that,
get some. I try to get some guys going
And so, but I mean, there's
in a
you
tournament.
have to level up a little bit, right? You got to do things to level up, and that's what you want to do. That works for you. You got this little podcast thing, and I have the honor of being on it. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Thank you for being
there's
here,
little
man.
things
That's
to
awesome.
being leveled up, and it doesn't have to be something big or extravagant. It doesn't got to be a big move out of state. It doesn't got to be, a podcast. Whatever it is for you, and it's just one step at a time. And as I say this, I kind of kick myself in the butt because of how, I need to also be doing one step at a time, one day at a time, when I'm like thinking like, oh, we got to sell the house. We need the money over here to do this. We got to buy another house. They're going to come over here, and we got to make sure this, and we got to make sure that. And, I know that there's things that I'm doing I'm not supposed to do, but I can't help it, man. Sometimes I just can't help it because I get all in my head about stuff. I'm like, I called my wife at 4 o'clock this morning. Babe, I don't know. Oh.
Man.
I laugh
Hey,
about it now, and I'm glad I can laugh about it. But it
yeah.
does go deep because, like, for me, I didn't growing up. I didn't. I really didn't get to dream and have goals. My father died when I was 2, so our family dynamic kind of. And then it's like when you break a piece of glass and then you put it back together. There's it's not back to normal.
It's not.
There's
It's
still
not normal.
it's
Yeah.
not as strong as when it was before, and there's still little cracks and grooves in there. So
Stress
that's
cracks
kind of
all
what
over.
I equate it to, And my mom, bless her heart, she did the best she could. And I have a great mom. She's she did not let the bad that happened to her, with my father passing. I mean, I think everybody knows by this point if they watch. My dad killed himself when I was 2 in the house that I live in. And so, my brother and my sister were there when it happened. My mom was there, so like I can only imagine what it did to them. I was 2 years old. I don't even remember. I have no recollection of my dad, but just like a couple of pictures. You know what I'm saying? So like it was, in a way, it was easier for me, I guess. But at the same time, I had also things that I went through because I didn't have a male presence in my life. I didn't know what it was like, to be a man and to be this and that. I kind of learned that as an adult. I knew what I didn't want to be, but I didn't know what I wanted to be, but, so to do like things that I'm doing now, like, that's why like being an active husband and father is so important to me because like I didn't have that, and as crazy and as dark as my mind gets, with this whole thing, like I could never that his answer is not my answer, you know,
Oh yeah.
and um, you know, I don't want. I was actually I just saw a post I made like 4 years ago, you know, about my dad, and because his birthday's in March, and like you know, I to this day, you know, my wife and kids have saved me every day. You know, they save me every day because his answer is not my answer, and you know, I never want you know my wife to feel what my mother felt. I never want my kids to feel what my brother and sister felt. You know, and so um, and I talk about it a little bit more freely now because I figure like you know what man like you know I know life is a game and there's a certain way you got to play it, but you also have to be real and have real ones that got your back. Um, and so I forgot what I was gonna say. Damn, yo.
Losing that train of thought, huh?
Yeah, I was losing train of thought. Damn it. Oh, like you know, so like being a little bit
Yeah.
more
Okay.
open with it because if I can, if, you know, if my story can help somebody, you know, and I said this on a podcast I was on a few months ago, like if my story can help somebody, like just one person, then all the shit that I went through was worth it. You know, if I can just help one person, you know, like hey, you know, like he went through what I'm going through, and like you know, he seems to be okay. Like I mean, and I am like I have my wife, my family. I got friends like you. I got friends that I have, you know, from state to state. I have a job, you know. I got in some trouble in the past, but like you know, I didn't let that hold me back. You know, I'm you know you know I'm a version of success that you know, however you know, depending on how people define it, in a way where going through a lot of hardships and suffering and stuff, I'm still able to, you know, make something of my life. And so by talking a little more openly about you know stuff that I went through, and you know being a little more transparent with you know my thought processes now and the up and down that I'm going, because that's life, man. Like how many times have you gone through shit like fuck, man, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, or like, but like it just stays in here, or like it
Hey
might just go
man.
to one person,
Sometimes
you know.
almost every day.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
everyday life's a struggle, man. And it's not to say
Yeah.
like, oh, you got to tell the whole world your business and this and that. It's not about that, you know. But I mean, we all go through struggles, man, and it's real.
Yeah.
And what you know, as much as like I try to be a mentally strong person and try to you know be able to you know kind of you know pressure my way. If you think about my jiu-jitsu, I'm kind of a pressure guy. Like I like to you
Hmm.
know put my pressure on people, and that's kind of how like I would go through life, is like pressure through it. And
Yeah.
but
Okay.
what this whole like pandemic and stuff has really made me look at is like the mental health. Like I never really like thought about like mental health and therapists and blah blah blah. It's like whatever. I don't need that. Like,
Hmm.
but you know, sometimes you know some you know if you want to be better and do better, you kind of have to do things differently. Um, you
Gotta
know,
step out of your comfort zone.
yeah, you know, and you know, I'm
Definitely.
definitely out of my comfort zone for sure. And so, like, you know, I listen to a lot of motivational speeches. I listen to a lot of. This year, I made a point to like listen to more prayerful type stuff. You know, so I listen to a little bit more sermons, or you know, just like I really like listening to Steve Harvey. I didn't like the guy at first because, and I think I was being very judgmental on stuff. Like, well, if
Hmm.
you're successful and but you got divorced, well, then are you really successful? Like, it's really none of my fucking business. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But you know, but listening to Steve Harvey's story and what he went through, and he's very open about the multiple divorces that he's had. He's really, you know, open about his shortcomings. You know, so and you know, I admire that about him, and he's got a lot of good stuff to say about you know just how you know with faith and the Lord and stuff like that. So I like listening to him. I'll listen to whatever, like really whatever is on the thumbnail. I'll listen to it. Um, I started doing stuff at night, listening to certain kind of music, or I was listening to prayerful stuff at night when I go to bed, just to kind of have that energy in the room.
Yeah.
So
That
you know,
helps a lot.
just trying to figure things out. Like I don't know, man. Like I'm just trying to, you know, maybe this will work. Let me try that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I want to show you something real quick. So
Yeah.
a friend of a teammate of mine at in jiu-jitsu, she made this painting for me. You know, and
Nice.
you know, we somehow
It's
became really
painted.
good
Wow.
friends. And you know, you know, you don't know what people are going through, right? And so she happened to be going through some stuff, and I was the guy that she decided to talk to, and so we became friends over that, and like you know, encouraging her, da 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 da, and like she made that painting as a thank you, and so like you never know the impact you have on people, you know. And that's probably one of the top five nicest things anyone's ever done for me. Because the thought that goes into something as intricate as a painting. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like, um, but yeah,
It's an
you know,
art.
we all go through stuff, and we have to make the best decisions for ourselves, no matter where we're at. And
Yeah.
if my story can help somebody, then it's worth it. And even if it doesn't, oh well, like I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh
Right.
damn it, no one said I
It's
helped
like
them,
let,
so
let
my
me go
life
back.
sucks.
Let me go back.
Yeah, let
Gotta
me go
start over.
backwards
Yeah.
but no,
Whatever that
so
button's at.
yeah, man. And I just, I was really looking forward to this call, man, because it kind of reminds me of being at home back in the day. Like I did a lot of podcasts, did a lot of interviews when I was fighting because I was trying to promote, and I like to talk.
I feel you, bro. Yeah. Hey,
but it's
do
a
what you
way to
gotta do, man.
engage. It's a way to engage, and just have conversation about real stuff. You know, um, gets people to kind of know a little bit more about me, especially out here when when this goes out on social media. People out here will get to know a little bit more about me. That might not know too much just because the opportunities don't present themselves for us to, or we might not be there yet in our friendship
Hmm.
or whatever. But it gives me an opportunity to learn a little bit more about you, and then people that maybe gets a little bit more about you as well in the conversation.
Oh yeah,
You
for
know what I'm
sure.
saying? But yeah,
It's the whole growth. So it's as far as like how you mentioned, you're gonna a lot of people from Minnesota are gonna be seeing this or hearing about you. Guys from over here, all over wherever social media takes it. And as far as you helping somebody, even as far as the short time that we did train together, you did help me a lot. And now even more with the story that you did share with me, it makes me feel even more motivated to continue doing what I'm doing. And that's you know it's a great feeling, man, because like how you mentioned, everybody has their own stories, and um, as far as jujitsu, it's really helped me because anytime I feel anxious or depressed, or regardless of if it's a bad day, or I don't know, just even sometimes I have days where I'm just like not really feeling like me, like if like man, to the point where I start saying like so much that if I start pulling out my mats right now and start doing a bunch of hip escapes, I'll feel a lot more comfortable and I'll come back. As soon as I start talking jiu-jitsu language, I start feeling a lot better. And look, my heart's not even racing as much anymore. And that's what I like. That's what I love about jiu-jitsu. It's actually helped me so much as far as like getting things done, being a lot more organized as well, because it's taught me to really look at those small details, like those little small details. And shout out to Sensei Tim and you know all the guys over there at 10th Planet. It's been a big deal for me because they've taught me a lot. Um, Even the small detail of clipping my toenails and my fingernails. You've taught me that, and that's actually really great, man. And I remember, training with you, man. It was actually a great time, and I believe you saw my nails or felt my nails, and ever since then, I got to make sure I check my nails. Yeah, man, and it's great to hear your story, man. It's really great to hear your story. Um,
well, it's great too that you because you have to do a level of putting yourself out there, and even providing the platform, and asking the questions and engaging in the conversation, and talking about yourself. And it's kind of like when I know I'll use like MMA sparring, or boxing or kickboxing sparring as an example. Like you know for me, jujitsu is a little easier, and maybe because I'm a little spoiled because I did MMA, and like I went hard rounds and beat the shit out of my training partner, or he beat the shit out of me, whatever, in the training. But like, so you're in the gym, right? You're hitting the bag, you're doing classes, whatever. But it still takes a certain level of like you know, courage to get in the ring and spar. Even it's not a fight, right? But you're
mhm.
still gonna get hit. You're still gonna like, you know, and if it's your first time, like, it takes a lot to. It says a lot about a person who can do that. Not to say that people who don't suck, but you know, the person who's in there, like it said, it says a lot about them because like it fucking sucks. I remember when when I'd be at work and Friday was sparring day. This was when I first started. I was like, fuck, man, because like I wasn't really good with the hands. You know what I'm saying? And my even as an MMA fighter, like my hands weren't my best thing. I really liked the ground. But anyway, but I remember like at work, like fuck, man, I'm sparring day today. Nervous as shit because not that I'm gonna get the shit beat at me, but like it don't feel good to get hit. You know what I'm saying?
Not
And
at
so
all.
like,
It never does.
and so so for the people who get in the ring to spar, it takes a lot of courage to do that. For and just people just with jiu-jitsu to to spar to live spar, that can take a lot of courage for some people because whatever they feel because we all start like, oh, I suck, I don't know what I'm doing, and like I get tired fast and I get my ass kicked, and we've all every single belt level has been that white belt before. You know what I'm saying? But the point I'm saying all that because there's a certain level of courage you have to take to put yourself out here like, oh, Victor's out here doing podcasts now. Oh, why is he asking that? Oh, because when you put yourself out there, you put yourself out there to the scrutiny or the positive, and regardless of what either one is, you're doing it, right? Because that's what you want to do. And so, it takes a level of courage to step up and do what you're doing, and then to, get people, whoever you talk to, to get them to open up and engage, and you're engaging, man. Like, it's good stuff, man. It's really good. It's cool because, I think it's been about a month and a half or so since you first hit me up. And when you kind of started talking about you're going to be doing, like, hey, like, I'm down if you're down. You know what I'm saying?
Heck
like,
yeah, man.
Because I want, if it can help you, like, elevate whatever, or just, get you another episode out there, like,
Awesome.
I'm down to help anybody who's trying to do something with their life. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it looks like. But yeah, we all, and it's, jiu-jitsu, it's not, it's one of the, it's some of the difference I talk to people about it when they ask about jiu-jitsu and how it's different from like, karate or whatever. Obviously striking is the most, apparent thing, but, jiu-jitsu is not marketed or not pushed with, discipline, honor, respect, like the old school, karate dojos used to be marketed as, I mean, you get all that,
Oh yeah.
but
you get that all
like
on your own.
with jiu-jitsu though, like it's a byproduct. Like
yeah.
It's not one of those things like today we're going to learn about respect. It's like, no, it's taught by action, bowing on and off the mat, shaking everybody's hand when you get on the mat. You will see it in place. The little conversations about nails and hygiene, or even the announcements at the end of the class. Hey guys, like you got to make sure you wash your gi. Some of you guys stink, like and so you learn those things as a byproduct. You're learning like cool. We're learning how to kill people, dude. Like that's there's a certain
right.
real,
That's a
like,
straightforward way of saying
like,
it.
If you want,
I
like,
guess
we're
you could
learning
say
how
that.
to like fuck somebody up,
Uh-huh.
and we can kill somebody if we wanted to, But obviously that's not why we're doing it, because there's a code that comes with jiu-jitsu and the martial arts. So you learn that stuff while you're learning how to do all this, cool, joint manipulation and collar chokes and chill dog, rubber guard, whatever the format is that any school is teaching. Like you're learning all this respect, you're learning all these things about yourself and your character as a byproduct. And being that I've been in jiu-jitsu and MMA for over 15 years, and still, there's still always something to learn. Like I'm learning a lot of new, different things over here with Black Arrow and the Guerilla Jiu-Jitsu format and how they're teaching stuff. But it's still, you still get reminded of some things where it's like, adapting jiu-jitsu to your life, because you can, like the little details, like you say how it's it's helped you. I've been doing this for like 15 years, man, and I'm still like, tripping over all this stuff that I've been tripping over the last couple of weeks. So like, dude,
Right.
in jiu-jitsu, you do this, jiu-jitsu this, and I'm like, one of the ladies in jiu-jitsu, we were talking last night, and she had brought it up like, jiu-jitsu this, and I was like, duh, yeah, but like sometimes it just gets so difficult for some reason to like apply jiu-jitsu to your life. Maybe when you're in a more regulated like mental space that you can, okay, okay, yeah, I got, all right, cool. But when you're in that spot, it's kind of like when you're in the bottom side controller, like fuck,
All
I need to
stuck
get
under
out.
there.
Yeah, and you're trying, and like, you start to panic, right? You know,
Oh
and
yeah.
I've talked to Coach Tibbs several times. Like we're friends. You know what I'm saying? And so like I was just talking to him today, but like and I'm thankful for for his friendship because some days I'll be the one, relating jujitsu to him and what he's going through, and other days he'll be, telling me about it. Or I talked to Coach Sam a couple times too. I talked to some of the guys at the gym out here too. And it's just, jujitsu can really it can really help you if you allow your mind to open up to it. And
Yeah.
I
Oh,
say that
definitely.
not I say that not meaning that oh no, I'm closing my mind off to it. It's just sometimes we just have these mental blocks that we don't know we're there, or they're in our subconscious, and we haven't like had that third eye, if you will, open up. Um, but yeah, there's so much out there, and the mind is such a powerful thing, you know. And I'm learning more about how powerful it is because of the ups and downs that I go through, and just finding myself. It caught me off guard when a couple of days before my wife had left. We were talking. It's like I was really focusing on the negative, and I try to be the guy who doesn't do that. But like my friends, I don't have this, I don't have that, I'm alone, blah 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 blah. But it's like, you know, I still have my life, I still have my wife, I still have my friends, I got a job, like I'm making a living, like you know,
And that's great,
um,
man. You're doing all that together. You
yeah,
got, like how
it's
you
just
said, you got a job, man.
sometimes the
You're doing all that.
perspective gets off.
Uh
Sometimes
huh.
our perspective gets off, and that's why I think it's good to talk and say things, because if you stay trapped in your head, you're gonna go super crazy, and I do that. So that's why, like, I'll talk, or I'll kind of be really like transparent about shit I post on Facebook, or like within my prayer circle I have, in a Facebook group. I'm really open there. On the prayer calls that I'm on, I'm really open there. You know, and closed mouths don't get fed. It's not like, hey, help me, hey, check on me, I'm going through this. Like I need. That's not. It's not even about that. But it's like, if you don't say anything, you're not going to get the help you really want. Because deep down, we want help.
Yeah.
And we need each other.
Anybody.
We're not here. We're not put on this world to be alone. If we were, why is there so many damn people then?
Yeah.
We're here to be in community and to help one another. And so, yeah, talking to people and getting stuff out there, and like, hey, I need help. Like, I've kept my mouth closed too long at certain points in time, where it's like, hey, I'm going through it right now, man. Like, what's up? Let's talk. What I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you got to put yourself out there. Even you have to be vulnerable. Like, a lot of people talk about, because we all have had our hearts broken, right? Oh, like, I ain't gonna love no more, or or they're always on guard, right? But like, if you really want to experience like love in its most purest form, you have to allow yourself to be, you have to allow yourself to have your heart shattered. If you want to experience like what the best love has to offer, you have to be willing to let your heart be broke in so many pieces. Because if you're guarded, you're only going to experience like a little bit of it. You know what I'm saying? And like, so,
No. Yeah. That makes sense.
I tell a lot of people
Makes
that when they
sense.
talk about stuff like that, it's like, dude, if you really want to experience it, like, you have to allow yourself to be out there. You got to be vulnerable. You got to, put yourself in danger of being hurt. If you want to win the fight, you got to get out there and put yourself in the danger. If you want to win a jiu-jitsu match, you got to go for stuff. You got to put yourself. You got to give up the armbar to try to get the pass or whatever.
Yeah.
And
You
just
got to
thinking
give it
about
up.
it, just even thinking about it now, like everything I'm going through, like with this transition and all this like life decision stuff, it's like it's going to make me better at life later. Hopefully, anyway, right?
Right.
But I mean, if we're going along that same concept, well then yeah, if you have the right mindset, which I think I do, just go through some shit right now in the process, because in the process you're going like as a you were just talking about my son, like but not even him, just people who are at a higher level than you, they're gonna make your day kind of bad in jiu-jitsu.
Mm.
because they're just, they're doing their thing. You're trying to do your thing, and like, fuck, man, this dude smashed me. Oh shit, I got choked out again. Oh, that's the third time I got with the same move, right? But it's gonna
Oh
make you
yeah.
better. It's gonna make you better, right? And this is, this has to make me better. But I have to let it, right? We have to let ourselves get better. You have to learn the, you have to let your, you have to be open to the fact that I'm gonna get fucked up tonight, but you know what? Or you might just be defensive all night. You might not even land a submission, but I didn't get choked out tonight. That's going to be a win too. So trying to find the little wins, man, and that's kind of what I started talking about earlier this week with my wife. Is like, I want to start talking about the wins again, because I let's try something different to keep my mindset in the right place. Let's talk about wins, and but again, that goes back to talking and communicating. And even in friendships, you still got to talk, communicate. And if you want certain things, you have to talk. You got to communicate to whoever is out there that you would like assistance from. So it sounds like I have all the answers, but I don't.
I had a list written down of all the questions I was about to ask you too, man. I was ready. I was ready.
I just need the lotto numbers. Give me the winning lotto numbers.
You know what? That was on the top of my list, as a matter of fact. No, yeah, man, and that's what I love about jiu-jitsu, because I see a lot of that in jiu-jitsu, because you do have to open up your mind. It's like you wake up and you don't think, I'm about to go get choked out this morning. I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning so I can be ready for 6 a.m. training, and out of whatever we're learning today, whether it's getting into the truck or taking the back or whatever it is, I'm going to get choked. My day can't get any worse from this,
Yeah.
You got to be really open about that, man, because it's not easy to be able to do that. It's not easy to just wake up one morning and be like, I want to get smashed right now. Like, I want to get pressured. I want to do that, and then still have to work. Or if you train after work, like, it's like, I got to go do a full 10-hour shift, 8-hour shift, and then I got training right after, and you try to go just as hard. You still bring your 110%, even though your battery drained already during work. You somehow found that energy to just keep it going, and that's what I love about it, and that's what I like to see. And as far as right there where I train in, at 10th Planet Stockton, as far as my schedule with work and my days off, and I try to get in as much as I can, whether it's in the morning, the evening, noon, or late at night. The coaches there are awesome. We got Beto, we got Mike and Dennis. Sensei Sam's has been a really great help. It's always a fun class with these guys. It's always a good time, and it's never like, I'm in class and I have to learn, and it's all on you, man. It's always you against you. It's about you getting better, and and the only way to get better is for you to go out there and keep doing it and keep showing up. So that's what I love about it, man. And I've learned a lot from everybody I've rolled with. Whether we've only rolled once or we rolled it 50 times, you learn from every single roll that you do. You learn those small details.
It's even like, or trying something, trying things, right? Because that's still learning, right? Where you're kind of, leading yourself to try something different. That's still learning, but when you started training, did you know somebody and you guys went together, or you just showed up at a dojo one day and was like, I want to start training?
God, man, I just showed up.
And so
I just showed up. I didn't know anybody.
And that's good, because and people like that, I have a ton of respect for. Not that I don't have respect for other people, what I'm saying, but like, sometimes you need a friend to be there with you, and that's cool too. Whatever's going to get you there, right? But like, for the people who just go in not knowing anybody, like, hey, like, I want to train, dude, that says a lot, and that was kind of my deal. Is like, I wanted to go try MMA. Okay, where do I go? And then, like, I didn't know anybody there. I didn't go in with like a buddy or anything like that. And plus, I was already fucking 28 when I started. So I was I was an adult already. My son was just born, I think.
How old was? Hold on. How old was your jiu-jitsu when you were in your MMA? Because you did have a Bellator fight, right? Mm-hmm. And how did you incorporate did you do any jujitsu? Did you guys end up getting to the ground during that fight, or have
Yeah, I
you
got
gone in
choked out.
any? Oh,
I
there
got
it
choked
is.
out.
There it is.
Dude, it was like 1 or 2 seconds before the buzzer too in the second round, I think.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
but yeah. So I mean, he was from AKA, and I think he was a young kid. I think he had a striking background, but AKA, I mean, there's a bunch of monsters over there anyway.
mhm.
But but yeah. So back to what for people who go in not knowing anybody and they stay like that's got to be nerve wracking because to
Oh
your
yeah,
point,
man.
like I'm gonna get up and end my day getting choked by some dude I don't even know or that I barely
Yeah,
just met yesterday.
yeah. It's crazy to think
And
about, right?
right, and and it's kind of it's pretty hard to make new friends when you're an adult, because you've kind of lived a long time and you've kind of dealt with shitty people or seen how people fuck people over. You're like, so it does get a little difficult. So
Mhm.
kudos to you for taking that step, and to all the people out there
Thank you, man.
who have taken a step that way. You know, um, it's rough, and we're talking about we mentioned like leveling up and stepping up. I mean, look at Mike and Dennis.
Yeah.
They were just regular dudes
Oh,
that
dude.
showed up one day to train, and
Now
now
these guys.
now they're going to seminars. In Southern
Hmm.
California, they're at that 10th Planet Walnut Creek.
Yeah.
They have stepped in to fill some of the spots that were vacant as things were transitioning.
And that's why
You
it's an
know,
honor learning from them, man. Every morning class that I
and
go, it's
it's
great.
not like they're like, oh yeah, I know my shit, like I'm cool. Like they had to put in the work. Like
Hmm.
Mike's gone to do some seminars with Chris Vickers at 10th Planet Walnut Creek, and then Dennis starts stepping up, and then they're doing all that shit together in Southern California, whatever. And it's great to see the progression, man. Like it's I
Oh
love
yeah.
to see people getting better, and I've expressed to them
Yeah.
both.
Shout out to
It's their
those guys
last
again,
time.
huh?
Yeah, and that's why
Man.
I'm like, I'm proud of you guys for
Yeah.
stepping up like that, man. Like, the gym needs it. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, the gym needs people to step up because one person can't do it all. You have to have a team, whether it's in the background or whether it's on the mats and the instructors. You know what I'm saying? Like, everyone's human, and shout out to those guys for stepping up for having the love and respect for Tim and Sam, and then being trustworthy people because yeah, you can want to do it, but if you're not a trustworthy person,
Yeah.
because you got to prove yourself. No matter what, you got to prove yourself. You know, some people some people they don't want to compete. Some people they don't want to be in a leadership position. Some people they just want to fucking go to jiu-jitsu and have a good time and like not worry about shit. And that's
Yeah.
cool. You got people that want to compete. You got people that want to get better and put in the work and spend the money they need to spend and do what they need to do to get better. And it turns into their leaders. They're the new leaders of the gym. You know what I'm saying? And you can be that too. My son can be that. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody can be it if they want it. And jiu-jitsu provides an avenue for that. It's a lot. It's a lot all inner discovery, man. And it's a great thing. I'm really glad we're having this conversation because it's getting me thinking about my life and what I'm going through and like how to go into tomorrow and just really just be in my power, just be motivated and whatever. I mean, just like in a jiu-jitsu match, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. The wins and the losses don't define me. You know what I'm saying? My character does. And that's the same attitude I need to take going into my life is like, shit happens, you know what I'm saying? And shit that happens here could happen at home too. I mean, shit, I lost, the fucking plant closed. I didn't think that was going to happen, 4
Hmm.
years ago. You know what I'm saying? So anything can happen, good or bad. And, as long you got to strive for the good and, just do your best to be positive and, good things can happen, man. It's happening for you. It's happening for me. It's happening for a lot of people that we know. Um, and that's leveling up, right? It's leveling up.
Yeah. No. Well, thanks again, man, for doing this. I really appreciate you doing this, and I gotta give you another shout out, man, because it's great to hear your story. It's very motivating. It's very inspiring, and I can't imagine what you've gone through. Everybody goes through their own things, and only that person knows what that feels like. And you
Yeah.
just told me that tomorrow, you're thinking already about tomorrow and everything. Well, when you wake up tomorrow, just know that tomorrow is going to be the first day of the rest of your life. So
Every
that's
day,
great, man.
man.
The
Every
first day
day
of the
is the
rest of your
first day
life
of
is
the rest
always
of your
tomorrow.
life, dude. And that
Hmm.
I used to see that saying around and be like, what does that mean? All right,
Yeah,
whatever.
right.
But but as you get older and you go through things, you get wisdom. Experience gives you wisdom. And I heard it somewhere years ago. I was kind of on a little development kick and stuff, and um, the wisdom is has the most expensive tuition, because to get the wisdom and experience, you have to fuck up. If you think about all the wisdom you have, because you learn from your mistakes, right? That's what wisdom is. They're fuck ups, right? Some of them are really bad fuck ups, and they hurt you to your soul. And some of them are like, oh damn, I shouldn't have gave my back. Versus, man, I shouldn't have fucking got drunk that night and said the shit that I said, or I shouldn't have popped up at the mouth the way I did, and hurt somebody, hurt my wife's feelings, or whatever the case is. But wisdom, comes from experience, and most times it's because you've screwed up somewhere, you've made a mistake. And so, wisdom as the most expensive tuition, I think is a very true statement, because when you mess up, it hurts. You have to look at yourself and be like, fuck. Because the hardest person to forgive is yourself.
Yeah. Wow.
Because we're so hard on ourselves. I was just having a conversation with my buddy I was telling about earlier, my jiu-jitsu homie from back in the day. We're the hardest critics on ourselves. And we put so much pressure on ourselves and whatever. And, I can forgive, someone for talking shit to me quicker than I can forgive myself for making a mistake at work. But we're all human, right? Shit happens.
We're all human, man. And that's what we can live by.
Wisdom, and maturity. Like, you have to be ready for stuff, and sometimes we're just not ready. Maybe 4 years ago, 3 years ago, when we were talking about moving out here, maybe God felt we weren't ready for it yet. We weren't mature enough in wherever we were at in our personal life or our marriage or our family, whatever. And and I've been saying that prayer about Minnesota, like, find a way, like, how can we do it? And I had to go through 3 crappy jobs. I had to go through that mental anguish of feeling bad about myself because I couldn't get my career rebuilt. And we got to pay bills and blah 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 blah, and I had to go through that for this Minnesota opportunity to happen. That to make it really a reality for my wife. Mm-hmm. And things had Stockton had to Stockton has gone through what it did for me to have the perspective I needed to be like, all right, you know what, we got to do this. Mm-hmm. And it's the Lord works in mysterious ways. Whoever they is, that's what they say.
Right.
And but yeah, thank you again for having me out here.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you. That's actually all the time we got too. Yeah. Actually,
can I get some quick
we're all good.
Out?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Well,
Let it go.
First of all, shout out to you for giving me for providing the platform. I got the tattoos here too. That's
Thank you, sir. There it is.
Shout out to Jiu-Jitsu, boom. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. 10th Planet.
To the 10th Planet family back in California and worldwide. Shout out to the Guerilla Jiu-Jitsu family out here and worldwide as well. Sensei Dave Camarillo is opening up another Guerilla Jiu-Jitsu in Modesto. So if y'all want to go check that out, that's what's up right there. Shout out to Coach Tim in Tennessee doing it out there. And everyone who, puts up with my up and down and who's there for me and to encourage me and check in on me. Like, I really appreciate that with everybody. Shout out to my wife and kids and my mom and my family. Shout out to God and, my Savior, man. Just happy to be here, man. I'm happy to be on this call with you. I really
Thank you for being here, man. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much for this.
Anytime you got questions or
we'll definitely do this again, man. We'll definitely do this again soon.
Hey, man, if you want to do it in April, my kids will be out here in April.
There we go. Look at that.
If we want to get Jesse on here.
Oh yeah.
We can do a joint effort.
Yeah, he beats me up all the fucking time. He beats me up all the time.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. No, look. But yeah, man. Thanks again. I really appreciate it, man. It was great to hear your story. I hope we get to do this again. If anybody wants to follow him, I'll have his Instagram in the bio or in the link. Feel free to leave any questions too. If you guys have any questions for him, I could always, I could always hit him up and let him know.
Whatever's clever, bro.
Sweet. Right on, man.
So,
Thank you
all
so
right, my
much
man.
for everything,
Hey,
man.
it's
I hope
okay,
you have a
dude.
good rest of your night, man.
All right, you too, brother. Take care.
All right, man.
All right, man. Peace out.
We're out of here.